You know what your problem is? You got an excuse for everything. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have the money. I don't have the connections. I didn't go to the right school. I grew up in the wrong neighborhood. My parents didn't support me. The economy is bad. The timing isn't right. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear how many reasons you've created for why you can't succeed? Every successful person you admire started with less than what you have right now. The only difference between you and them is that they decided to stop talking and start doing. They looked at their circumstances and said, you know what? I don't care what I don't have. I'm going to work with what I do have. They stopped waiting for perfect conditions because perfect conditions don't exist. They exist in your mind as another excuse to stay comfortable. I've seen people with every advantage in the world accomplish nothing. I've seen people who came from nothing, who had every reason to fail, build empires. What's the difference? The difference is that one person disciplined their mind to focus on solutions, while the other one kept focusing on problems. One person trained their brain to see opportunities, while the other one kept seeing obstacles. One person said, I'm going to find a way or make a way, and the other one said, it's just not possible for someone like me. Every day you spend making excuses is a day someone else is using to get ahead. While you're explaining why you can't, somebody else is figuring out how they can. While you're listing all the reasons it won't work, somebody else is testing different approaches until they find one that does. The world doesn't reward excuses. The world rewards results. The world rewards action. Starting right now, I need you to catch yourself every time an excuse comes out of your mouth. Every time you hear yourself say, I can't because, stop yourself mid-sentence. Replace that excuse with a question. Instead of I can't because I don't have money. Ask yourself, how can I make this happen with the resources I have? Instead of I can't because I'm not qualified, ask yourself what skills I need to learn and where I can learn them. Train your mind to solve problems instead of creating excuses for them. You've got to understand something crucial here. Your excuses might sound valid to you. They might even sound valid to other people, but they don't change your reality. They keep you stuck in the same place year after year, wondering why nothing in your life ever changes. The moment you drop the excuses and pick up responsibility, that's the moment everything shifts. That's the moment you take your power back. Most people walk around with their minds on autopilot. They let any thought just run wild in there. Negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, fear, doubt, worry. They treat their mind like a garbage dump where anything can be thrown in. Then they wonder why their life looks like a mess. Your mind is the most valuable real estate you own. You've got to guard it. You've got to be intentional about what you allow to take root in there. Every action you take starts as a thought. Before you speak, you think. Before you move, you think. Before you create anything in the physical world, it exists in your mind first. So if your thinking is limited, your actions will be limited. If your thinking is fearful, your actions will be timid. If your thinking is abundant and powerful, your actions will reflect that. You cannot outperform your mindset. You will always act in alignment with what you truly believe about yourself. Here's what most people don't realize. You can actually train your mind just like you train your body. You go to the gym and lift weights to build your muscles. You can do mental exercises to build your mindset. You can practice gratitude to train your mind to see abundance. You can visualize success to train your mind to expect victory. You can speak affirmations to train your mind to believe in your worth. This isn't some feel-good fantasy. This is real work that produces real results. The strongest person isn't the one with the biggest muscles. The strongest person is the one with the most disciplined mind. When your mind is disciplined, you can handle anything life throws at you. You don't crumble under pressure. You don't quit when things get hard. You don't let temporary setbacks convince you to abandon permanent goals. A disciplined mind sees challenges as opportunities to grow. An undisciplined mind sees challenges as reasons to quit. Think about the most successful people in any field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. What do they all have in common? Mental toughness, mental discipline. They've trained their minds to push past limits that stop ordinary people. They've conditioned their thoughts to focus on what's possible instead of what's difficult. They've developed the ability to control their thinking instead of letting their thinking control them. That's power. That's real power. You got discipline twisted. You think discipline is about restricting yourself, punishing yourself. You think it means you can't have fun, you can't enjoy life, you have to suffer through every day. No, that's not what discipline is. That's what people who lack discipline tell themselves to justify staying undisciplined. Let me tell you what discipline really is. Discipline is freedom. When you discipline yourself to save money instead of spending everything you make, you create financial freedom. When you discipline yourself to eat healthy instead of whatever tastes good in the moment, you create freedom from disease and low energy. When you discipline yourself to learn new skills instead of just watching television every night, you create freedom to pursue better opportunities. Discipline in the present creates options in the future. Undisciplined people think they're free. They eat what they want, sleep when they want, spend what they want, and do what they want in the moment. But look at their lives 5 years down the road. They're trapped. Trapped in debt, trapped in bad health, trapped in jobs they hate because they never developed skills for anything better. Trapped in relationships that don't fulfill them because they never did the work on themselves. That's not freedom. That's prison. Disciplined people make sacrifices in the short term that undisciplined people won't make. They get up early when they'd rather sleep in. They work on their goals when they'd rather relax. They invest their money when they'd rather spend it. They practice when others are partying. But look at their lives 5 years down the road. They have choices, they have options, they have freedom. They can wake up when they want because they built a business. They can travel where they want because they manage their money. They have energy because they took care of their health. That's real freedom. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. You can choose the small pain of making yourself do what needs to be done today. Or you can choose the massive pain of living with the consequences of neglecting what needs to be done. Either way, you're going to experience pain. The question is, which pain do you want? The pain that makes you better or the pain that makes you bitter? Here's the beautiful thing about discipline. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. At first, waking up early is hard. Making yourself work out is hard. Choosing a healthy meal is hard. Studying instead of scrolling social media is hard. But you do it anyway. You push through the resistance. And after a while, it becomes your new normal. It becomes who you are. Discipline becomes a habit, and habits become automatic. When you discipline your mindset to embrace discipline itself, you unlock a level of freedom most people will never experience. You're no longer a slave to your moods, your cravings, your impulses, your circumstances. You're in control. You decide what you're doing when you do it based on your goals, not based on how you feel in the moment. That's power, that's freedom, that's what discipline really gives you. Let me tell you something. Comfort is a slow death to your destiny. You're sitting on that couch, scrolling through your phone, watching other people live their dreams while yours collect dust. You're comfortable. You've got your routine. You know what to expect every day. There are no surprises, no challenges, no risks. And you think that's a good thing. You think that's what you're supposed to want. But comfort is a trap. Your dreams live outside your comfort zone. Every single thing you want that you don't already have exists in the territory of the unfamiliar. If what you wanted was in your comfort zone, you'd already have it. The relationship you want requires you to be vulnerable in ways that feel uncomfortable. The business you want to start requires you to take risks that feel scary. The body you want requires you to push yourself in ways that feel hard. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. Most people choose comfort over growth every single day without even realizing it. They choose the familiar job they hate over the uncertain opportunity that excites them. They choose the easy conversation over the difficult one that could change everything. They choose to stay in their small circle instead of networking with people who could open doors. Every time you choose comfort, you're voting against your dreams. Here's what nobody tells you about comfort. It's not actually comfortable. It feels comfortable in the moment. But over time, living below your potential is one of the most uncomfortable feelings in the world. Knowing you're capable of more, but not doing anything about it eats at you. Watching others achieve what you know you could achieve if you just tried creates a quiet resentment. The comfort zone eventually becomes a cage, and you're stuck inside it looking out at the life you could have lived. Your comfort zone will expand or contract based on what you do. If you keep choosing safety, your comfort zone shrinks. Things that used to feel normal start to feel risky. Your world gets smaller and smaller. But if you consistently push yourself to do uncomfortable things, your comfort zone expands. What once terrified you becomes routine. What once seemed impossible becomes your new normal. You grow, you evolve, you become more. Think about every major achievement in your life. Did any of them happen while you were comfortable? When you learned to ride a bike, was that comfortable? When you went to your first day at a new school, was that comfortable? When you went on that first date, started that new job, or moved to that new city, was any of that comfortable? No. But those experiences shaped you. They made you who you are. They expanded your capacity. Discomfort is where all growth happens. I need you to do something that scares you, something that makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be huge. Make that phone call you've been putting off. Have that conversation you've been avoiding. Apply for that position you think you're not ready for. Post that content you're afraid people will judge. Take one step outside your comfort zone. Then tomorrow, take another step. Then another. Train your mind to seek discomfort because that's where your dreams are waiting for you. Every single morning, you'd better wake up and have a conversation with yourself before you let the world tell you who you are. You've got to speak life into yourself. I am capable. I am worthy. I am going to win today. Because if you don't set your mind right in the morning, the world will set it wrong for you. The moment you wake up, forces are competing for your attention and your mental energy. Social media wants to make you feel inadequate. The news wants to make you feel afraid. Other people's opinions want to make you feel small. Your self-talk is the most important conversation you'll have all day. It sets the tone for everything else. If you wake up and the first thoughts in your head are negative, I'm so tired, I don't want to go to work, I can't handle this day, nothing ever works out for me, you've just programmed your mind for failure. You've set yourself up to see problems instead of solutions, obstacles instead of opportunities, reasons to quit instead of reasons to keep going. Most people are their own worst critics. They say things to themselves they would never say to another human being. They beat themselves up over every mistake. They replay their failures on a loop. They focus on their weaknesses and ignore their strengths. They compare their beginning to someone else's middle. They let that inner voice tear them down day after day. Then they wonder why they lack confidence, why they lack motivation, why they can't seem to make progress. You've got to flip that script. You've got to become your own biggest cheerleader, your own best coach, your own strongest supporter. When you make a mistake, talk to yourself the way you'd talk to a good friend. You messed up, but you're learning. This doesn't define you. You're going to do better next time. When you face a challenge, remind yourself of challenges you've overcome before. You've been through hard things and survived. You've got what it takes. You're stronger than you think. The words you speak to yourself create your reality. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, your brain will find evidence to support that belief. You'll notice every failure and overlook every success. You'll see every rejection and miss every opportunity. But if you tell yourself, I am capable of achieving great things, your brain will look for evidence of that instead. You'll notice your wins. You'll see possibilities. You'll find ways to make it happen. Your brain believes what you tell it, so tell it something powerful. This isn't about lying to yourself or ignoring reality. This is about choosing which reality you're going to focus on. You can focus on all the reasons why you might fail, or you can focus on all the reasons why you might succeed. Both perspectives are available to you at any moment. Disciplining your mindset means consciously choosing the perspective that empowers you instead of the one that defeats you before you even start. Create a morning routine where you speak truth into yourself before the world speaks lies. Before you check your phone, before you read the news, before you talk to anyone else, talk to yourself. Remind yourself who you are and what you're capable of. Set your intentions for the day. Declare what you're going to accomplish. Prime your mind for success. When you control the first conversation of the day, you control the narrative for everything that follows. You're sitting over there, scared to try because you might fail. Listen to me. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every time you fail, you're learning what doesn't work. You're getting redirected to what does work. You're gathering information. You're building resilience. You're developing character. The only real failure is not trying at all. The only guaranteed way to fail is to let fear of failure stop you from starting. Think about every successful person you admire. Do you know what they all have in common? They've failed more times than you've even tried. They've been rejected more times than you've applied. They've fallen more times than you've taken a step. But they didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. They extracted the lesson from every setback and used it as fuel to come back stronger. When you fail at something, your ego takes a hit. That's uncomfortable. You feel embarrassed. You feel like everyone is watching and judging. You question whether you're cut out for this. These feelings are normal, but you cannot let them stop you. You've got to discipline your mind to separate a failed attempt from being a failure as a person. You didn't fail. You produced a result that wasn't what you wanted. There's a difference. Failure is feedback. It's data. It's showing you what adjustments you need to make. If you try to start a business and it doesn't work, that failure is teaching you something. Maybe your timing was off. Maybe your approach was wrong. Maybe you need different skills. Maybe you need a different market. The failure isn't telling you to give up. It's telling you to pivot. It's redirecting you to a better path. Most people quit after 1 or 2 failures because they view failure as a stop sign. Successful people view failure as a learning experience, a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey. They expect to fail multiple times before they succeed. They've disciplined their minds to see failure as temporary and success as inevitable if they just keep going. That mindset shift changes everything. Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. You're going to fail. Period. If you're trying anything worthwhile, you're going to experience setbacks. You're going to make mistakes. Things are not going to go according to plan. The question isn't whether you will fail. The question is, what will you do when you fail? Will you let it stop you, or will you let it strengthen you? Will you quit, or will you adjust and keep moving forward? Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they lifting you or pulling you down? Are they dreamers or dream killers? Are they pushing you to be better or making excuses with you for why you're not? You cannot, I repeat, you cannot soar with eagles if you're still scratching around in the dirt with chickens. Your environment shapes you. Your circle influences you. The people around you either inspire you to level up or enable you to stay stuck. This is one of the hardest truths you'll ever have to face. Some people in your life right now are holding you back. They're not bad people. You might love them. You might have a history with them, but they're keeping you small. Every time you talk about your goals, they find a reason why it won't work. Every time you try to improve yourself, they make jokes to bring you back down. Every time you start to rise, they remind you of who you used to be. You've got to make a choice. your growth or their comfort. Eagles fly alone or with other eagles. They don't flock. They don't hang around birds that can't match their altitude. When you start developing an eagle mentality, a mindset focused on excellence and growth, you're going to outgrow some relationships. That's not being mean. That's not being arrogant. That's being honest about what you need to succeed. You need people around you who challenge you, inspire you, believe in you, and hold you accountable. Your circle should include people who are ahead of where you want to be. People who have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish. People who have the mindset you're trying to develop. When you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. When you're the most ambitious person in your circle, you need a bigger circle. Surround yourself with people who make you uncomfortable in the best way, who raise the standard, who make you think bigger. Some of you are scared to distance yourself from certain people because you don't want to hurt their feelings or because you're afraid of being alone. Let me tell you something. Being alone is better than being in the wrong company, period. You can be surrounded by people and still feel empty if those people don't align with where you're going. It's better to walk alone in the right direction than to walk with a crowd going nowhere. This doesn't mean you have to be harsh or cruel. You don't have to announce that you're cutting people off. You just have to be intentional about where you invest your time and energy. Spend less time with people who drain you and more time with people who energize you. Spend less time in conversations about other people's business and more time in conversations about ideas and growth. Your time is limited. Your energy is limited. Spend both wisely. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how smart you are. If you're not consistent, somebody with half your talent and twice your discipline is going to pass you by. Talent might get you noticed, but consistency is what gets you paid. Talent might open the door, but consistency is what keeps you in the room. The world is full of talented people who never amounted to anything because they couldn't show up consistently. Consistency is doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It's showing up on the days you're motivated and on the days you're not. It's putting in the work when people are watching and when nobody's watching. It's choosing to be excellent even when average would be easier. Consistency isn't exciting, it's not glamorous. It doesn't make for good social media posts, but it's the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. You can't work hard for 3 days and rest for 3 weeks and expect results. Success is built brick by brick, day by day, hour by hour. Every small action you take consistently compounds over time. Working out once won't transform your body, but working out consistently for 6 months will. Writing one day won't make you an author, but writing every day for a year will produce a book. Making one sales call won't build a business, but making calls every single day will. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year with consistent effort. They want immediate results, so they go all out for a short period, burn out, and quit. Then they wonder why nothing in their life ever changes. Real change happens through small, consistent actions repeated over time. It's not sexy, but it works every single time. Here's the challenge with consistency. It requires you to keep going when you don't see results yet. You're putting in the work, but nothing seems to be happening. That's the test. That's where most people quit. They give up right before the breakthrough because they can't see the progress accumulating beneath the surface. But every action you take is adding up. You just can't see it yet. Trust the process. Stay consistent. Discipline your mindset to fall in love with the process, not just the outcome. Stop looking for quick wins and start building systems of consistency. Create routines that make it easier to show up. Track your progress so you can see how far you've come. Celebrate small wins along the way. Make consistency a non-negotiable part of who you are. When you commit to showing up every single day, you become unstoppable. The talented person works when they feel inspired. The consistent person works whether they feel inspired or not. The talented person has bursts of brilliance followed by periods of nothing. The consistent person produces steady results that compound into extraordinary outcomes. Talent is a gift. Consistency is a choice. Choose consistency and you'll beat talent every single time. Some of you are stuck because you keep looking in the rearview mirror. What happened back there is done. You can't drive forward looking backward. I don't care what mistakes you made. I don't care who hurt you. I don't care what you lost. Discipline your mind to focus on where you're going, not where you've been. Your past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. Yes, bad things happened to you. People betrayed you. You made wrong choices. You wasted time. You failed at things that mattered. You hurt people you loved. You got hurt by people you trusted. I'm not dismissing any of that. Your pain is real. Your regret is real. But you cannot build a future looking at the past. You cannot create something new while holding on to something old. At some point, you've got to let it go. Your past does not have the power to determine your future unless you give it that power. You give it power every time you say, I can't because of what happened to me. You give it power every time you use your history as an excuse for your current behavior. You give it power every time you let old wounds stop you from taking new opportunities. Your past happened to you, but you get to decide what you do with it. Some of the most successful people in the world came from the worst circumstances. Abuse, poverty, addiction, prison, failure after failure after failure. But they made a decision. They decided that their past would be a testimony, not a prison sentence. They decided to use their pain as fuel instead of letting it be their excuse. They disciplined their minds to focus on the future they were creating, not the past they survived. Every day you wake up is a new opportunity to write a different story. You're not who you were 5 years ago. You're not even who you were yesterday. You're constantly evolving, constantly growing, constantly becoming. Stop introducing yourself by your past. Stop defining yourself by what you went through. Start defining yourself by where you're going and who you're becoming. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know before you learned it. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you made when you were doing your best with what you had. Forgive the people who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're not going to let it control your future anymore. Release the weight. Let it go. Make room for what's coming. Discipline your mind to stop replaying old tapes. Stop rehearsing old conversations. Stop reliving old hurts. Every time your mind drifts to the past, gently redirect it to the present moment or to your future vision. Train your thoughts to focus on what you can control right now. Your past is a chapter, not the whole book. You've got more pages to write, and the best chapters are still ahead of you. You want the glory without the grind, and that's not how this works. You want the mansion, but you don't want to work the extra hours. You want the business, but you don't want to learn the skip, but you want the relationship, but you don't want to do the work on yourself. You want the recognition, but you don't want to put in the repetitions. The grind is where champions are made. The grind is where ordinary people become extraordinary. The grind is the unsexy part of success that nobody talks about. It's the part that happens behind closed doors when nobody's watching. It's the early mornings and the late nights. It's the practice sessions that nobody sees. It's the research, the planning, the failing, the trying again. It's the 1,000 hours of preparation for the 1 hour of performance. The grind isn't glamorous, but it's necessary. Most people want to skip the grind and go straight to the reward. They see someone successful and they want that life, but they don't want that work. They want the influence without building the audience. They want the income without developing the value. They want the transformation without the discipline. But the universe doesn't work that way. You can't harvest what you didn't plant. You can't reap what you didn't sow. The grind is the sowing season. Here's what separates winners from losers. Winners embrace the grind. They understand that the boring, repetitive, difficult work is what builds the foundation for everything they want. They don't complain about it. They don't resent it. They accept it as the price of admission. Losers avoid the grind. They look for shortcuts, hacks, and easy ways. They want something for nothing, and they end up with nothing. The grind reveals who you really are. When things get hard, when progress is slow, when nobody's cheering for you, when you're tired and frustrated and ready to quit, that's when your character shows up. Do you push through or do you fold? Do you stay committed or do you make excuses? The grind is testing you. It's asking the question, how bad do you really want this? You've got to fall in love with the grind. Stop seeing it as something to endure and start seeing it as something to embrace. This is where you're building discipline. This is where you're developing skills. This is where you're proving to yourself that you have what it takes. The grind is your training ground. Every rep you put in is making you stronger, sharper, and better prepared for the opportunity when it comes. Discipline your mind to respect the process. Understand that there are no shortcuts to anywhere worth going. The grind is not your obstacle. The grind is your opportunity. It's your chance to separate yourself from everyone who's not willing to do what you're willing to do. Embrace it. Honor it. Let it shape you into the person capable of handling the success you're working toward. Right now, you got to sacrifice. You got to give up some things. Some sleep, some parties, some television time, some hanging out. You got to say no to some invitations. You got to miss some events. You got to put your head down and work while other people are playing. But let me tell you something. That sacrifice is temporary. You know what lasts forever? Regret. The regret of I wish I would have, and I could have, and I should have. That's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. Sacrifice means giving up something you want now for something you want more later. It's delayed gratification. It's trading temporary pleasure for long-term gain. Most people aren't willing to make that trade. They want to feel good right now. They want to do what's fun right now. They can't see past today, so they make choices that feel good in the moment but cost them in the future. The sacrifice phase of your journey is where you prove to yourself and to the universe that you're serious. It's easy to talk about your goals. It's easy to post motivational quotes. It's easy to tell people what you're going to do. But are you willing to sacrifice for it? Are you willing to get uncomfortable? Are you willing to give up the good to get to the great? That's the real test. Think about what you're sacrificing for. You're sacrificing so your future self can have options. You're sacrificing so your family can have a better life. You're sacrificing so you can build something that lasts. You're sacrificing so you can become the person you're meant to be. When you keep the bigger picture in mind, the sacrifices don't feel as heavy. They feel like investments, because that's exactly what they are. Now let's talk about regret. Regret is the heaviest weight you'll ever carry. It's looking back at your life and realizing you had opportunities you didn't take. You had potential you didn't use. You had time you wasted. You had chances you were too afraid to seize. Regret is knowing you could have been more, done more, experienced more, but you chose comfort over growth. That pain doesn't go away. It follows you. You can handle the temporary discomfort of sacrifice. You're stronger than you think. What you can't handle, what will eat at you for the rest of your life, is looking back and wondering what if. What if I had tried? What if I had pushed through? What if I had believed in myself? What if I had just gone for it? Don't let your future self ask those questions. Make the sacrifice now so your future self can live in gratitude instead of regret. Discipline your mind to keep your eyes on the finish line. When sacrifice feels hard, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself what you're building. Remind yourself that this phase is temporary, but the life you're creating is permanent. Sacrifice now, win later. That's the deal. Take it. Vision gives you direction. It shows you where you want to go. It paints a picture of the life you want to create. That's important. You need to know where you're headed. But vision alone changes nothing. You can visualize success all day long, but if you're sitting on the couch eating chips while you do it, nothing in your reality is going to shift. Vision must be partnered with action, or it's just fantasy. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with action. Not intention, not wishes, not hopes. Daily, consistent, focused action. Every day you need to do something, even something small, that moves you closer to your vision. Make the call, send the email, do the research, practice the skill, create the content, have the conversation, take the step. One action at a time builds the bridge from vision to reality. Most people spend more time planning than doing. They're always getting ready to get ready. They're perfecting the plan, waiting for the right time, gathering more information, making sure everything is just right before they start. Meanwhile, years pass and they're still in the same place. Planning is important, but at some point you've got to execute, you've got to move. Imperfect action beats perfect planning every single time. Here's the hard truth. Action reveals whether your vision is real or just something you like to think about. When you start taking action, you find out how committed you really are. You find out if you're willing to face the challenges, handle the setbacks, and push through the resistance. A lot of people have big dreams, but only a small percentage are willing to do what those dreams require. Action separates the dreamers from the doers. Your actions today are creating your reality tomorrow. Every choice you make, every task you complete or avoid, every hour you invest or waste, it's all adding up. You're either building the life you want or you're building a life of regret. There's no neutral. You're either moving forward or falling behind. The question is, are your daily actions aligned with your vision? Not everything deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every distraction deserves your time. You got to guard your mind like it's Fort Knox. Turn off the negativity. Stop watching the news all day that makes you depressed. Stop listening to people who don't have what you want. Stop scrolling through social media, comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Protect your mental space. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you're constantly consuming negative content, listening to complainers, and engaging with drama, your energy is going to reflect that. You'll feel drained, anxious, overwhelmed, and defeated. But if you're intentional about what you consume, who you listen to, and what you expose yourself to, you can maintain a higher vibration. You can keep your mind clear and your energy strong. We live in a world designed to steal your attention. Social media news, entertainment, other people's emergencies, gossip, drama. There's always something trying to pull you away from what matters. Every notification is a bid for your attention. Every scroll is time you're never getting back. Every argument you engage in online is energy you could have invested in your goals. You've got to be ruthless about protecting your mental space. Think about what you allow into your mind daily. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are you talking to? Is it feeding your growth or feeding your fears? Is it inspiring you or draining you? Is it helping you become better or keeping you stuck? Audit your mental diet the same way you'd audit your food. If it's not nourishing you, cut it out. You don't owe everyone access to you. You don't have to answer every call, respond to every message, attend every event, or engage in every conversation. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to prioritize your peace over people pleasing. When you start protecting your mental space, some people won't like it. They'll call you distant, antisocial, different. Good, that means you're doing it right. Create a mental environment that supports your success. Fill your mind with content that educates, motivates, and elevates you. Listen to podcasts that teach you something. Read books that expand your thinking. Surround yourself with people who inspire you. Start your day with gratitude instead of scrolling. End your day with reflection instead of mindless television. Be as intentional about what goes into your mind as you are about what goes into your body. Right when you want to quit, right at that moment, you're usually 3 feet from goal. Most people give up right before the breakthrough. They run 26 miles of the marathon and stop before the finish line. They endure all the hard work, all the sacrifice, all the setbacks, and then they quit right before everything was about to pay off. Don't be that person. Discipline your mind to push through when it gets hard, because your blessing is right around the corner. You have no idea how close you are to success. You can't see it yet because it's still forming. It's still coming together beneath the surface. But all those prayers, all that work, all that faith, it's about to manifest. You're about to turn the corner. You're about to see the breakthrough. You're about to witness the reward for all the effort you've invested. But only if you don't quit now. The darkest hour is just before dawn. When things feel the hardest, when you're the most tired, when you're ready to throw in the towel, that's often the sign that you're close. The resistance you're feeling isn't a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're about to level up. It's the universe testing you, asking, are you really ready for what you've been praying for? Can you handle the next level? Think about how many times you've been close to something and didn't realize it until later. You went on interviews and didn't get the job, then the next one hired you. You dated people who weren't right, then met the one. You tried business ideas that didn't work, then found the one that did. Looking back, you can see that every no was leading you to a yes. Every closed door was redirecting you to an open one. You were closer than you thought. Right now, in this moment, you're closer to your breakthrough than you've ever been. You've learned more, grown more, developed more than you had last year, last month, last week. Every step you've taken, even the ones that felt like steps backward, has been preparing you. You're not starting over. You're starting from experience. You're starting from strength. You're starting from a higher level than before. The people who win are not always the most talented. They're not always the smartest or the most connected. Often, they're just the ones who refuse to quit. They kept showing up when others dropped out. They kept believing when others lost faith. They kept working when others got tired. They stayed in the game long enough to see the win. That's the only difference between them and everyone else. They didn't quit. Show me your daily habits, and I'll show you your future. You can't have $1,000,000 dreams with minimum wage habits. What you do every single day is building your tomorrow. Are you building a mansion or a shack? Discipline isn't about one big moment. It's about 1,000 small decisions that add up to destiny. Your habits are either moving you toward your goals or away from them. There's no in between. Habits are powerful because they're automatic. You don't have to think about them. You don't have to motivate yourself to do them. They just happen because you've repeated them so many times, they've become part of who you are. The question is, what habits have you automated? Are they productive habits that serve your future, or destructive habits that sabotage your success? Every successful person has success habits. They wake up at a certain time. They exercise, they read, they plan their day. They focus on high value activities. They review their goals. They invest in their growth. These aren't things they do when they feel like it. These are non-negotiable routines that run on autopilot. Their habits create the conditions for success to show up. Every struggling person has struggle habits. They hit snooze 5 times. They scroll social media for hours. They watch television instead of working on their goals. They eat whatever's convenient. They hang out with people who waste time. They complain instead of taking action. These habits create a life of mediocrity, not because they want mediocrity, but because their daily habits produce mediocre results. Your current life is the total of your habits up to this point. If you want a different life, you need different habits. It's that simple. You can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. You want to be healthier. Build habits around nutrition and exercise. You want to be wealthier. Build habits around learning, earning, and investing. You want better relationships. Build habits around communication and quality time. New habits create new results. The beautiful thing about habits is that you can change them. You're not stuck with the habits you have. You can decide today to install a new habit. Start small. Pick one habit that would make the biggest difference in your life and commit to it for 30 days. Wake up an hour earlier. Read for 20 minutes. Exercise for 30 minutes. Journal. Meditate. Whatever it is, do it every single day until it becomes automatic. Then add another habit, then another. Build a routine that builds the life you want. Discipline your mindset to understand that habits are your future being created in the present. Every time you execute your positive habits, you're investing in the person you're becoming. Every time you give in to negative habits, you're delaying the life you want. Your habits are votes for the type of person you want to be. Every action is a vote. What are you voting for? Make your habits match your goals, and your future will match your dreams. Here's what I need you to understand. You wouldn't have the dream if you couldn't achieve it. That vision keeps coming back to you for a reason. You were built for this. You were designed for this. You've got everything inside you right now that you need to succeed. All you got to do is discipline your mindset and go get it. Stop doubting yourself. Stop second guessing yourself. Stop waiting for permission or validation. You were made for this moment. Everything you've been through has been preparing you. Every challenge made you stronger. Every failure taught you something. Every setback positioned you for a comeback. Nothing has been wasted. Every experience, good or bad, has been developing the skills, the character, the resilience you need to handle what's coming. You're more ready than you realize. You're more capable than you believe. You're more prepared than you think. That dream that won't leave you alone, that idea that keeps coming back, that vision that excites you and scares you at the same time, that's not random. That's your purpose calling you. That's your destiny pulling you. That's life showing you what you're meant to create. You didn't choose the dream. The dream chose you. And it chose you because you're the right person to make it happen. You've got unique gifts, talents, experiences, and perspectives that nobody else has. There's something you can do, some way you can contribute, some problem you can solve that only you can do in the way you can do it. The world needs what you have to offer, but you've got to step up. You've got to believe in yourself as much as the universe believes in you. You've got to stop playing small and step into your greatness. Fear is going to tell you you're not ready. Doubt is going to tell you you're not qualified. Insecurity is going to tell you you're not enough. Those voices are lying to you. They're trying to keep you safe, keep you comfortable, keep you small. But you weren't built for small. You weren't built for safe. You were built for impact. You were built for significance. You were built to leave a mark on this world. Stop waiting until you feel ready.